Oh, we'll be there.
Well, a lot of it was on
Mohini Kishore moved to Bulgaria. Maybe a slow night. You always slow down after some time. I got here when it was hot. I was just in from Mayapur. So Thomas is coming or not coming?
No, I think he has a call he has to be on.
Where do we leave off? 1, 5? No. 1, 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're like 25. 26. Om Ajnanatamarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurue Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namaste Girirajaya Shri Govardhana Namane Ashesha Klesha Nashaya Paramananda Daine Namo Vancha Kalpatarabhischa Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachare Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastuta Deshatariणे Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mare Kabando Matsangin Madguro Manmadana Madnistaraka Madbhagya Madananda Namostute Asaru Saru Tadayan Atinicho Tatakara Anamuncha Karachinmam Premno Ritkatayo Spura Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Okay, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, text number 26. speaking about Narada Muni's past life. And what we're hearing, one big lesson to take from this particular section is that Narada Muni was an ideal servant of his Guru Maharajas, and he was not frivolous. He was very serious about his spiritual life, and he was very, very devoted and very humble in his taking prasadam, rendering service to them. He didn't play games. He didn't talk nonsense. And we spoke a little bit about conditional mercy and unconditional mercy. That Bhaktivedanta's first mercy on Narada was not because of his good qualities, but they showered mercy on Narada just because. And because he had good qualities, he was able to accept that mercy. That's the big thing, that the good qualities allow us to accept the mercy rather than the mercy not being bestowed upon. Guy's trying to invite me to Rath Yatra. Guy from India trying to invite me to Jagannath Rath Yatra. There's LA, millions of people. Okay, 26, very nice verse. Tatran vaham Krishna kata paganyatam anugrahena shrinvanam manohara tadshayame nupadam vishrinvita Asya angamama bhavadruchi. O Vyasadeva, in the association by the mercy of the great Vedantists, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna, and thus listening attentively, my taste for hearing of the personality of Godhead increased at every step. Purport: Lord Sri Krishna is the absolute personality of Godhead. He is attractive not only in his personal features, but also in his transcendental activities. It is so because the Absolute is absolute by his name, fame, form, pastimes, entourage, paraphernalia, etc. Lord descends this material world out of his causeless mercy and displays his various transcendental pastimes as a human being, so that human beings attracted towards him may be able to go back to Godhead. Prabhupada speaks about how men, we like to hear things, we like to listen to things, we like to listen to stories, watch dramas, and so forth. And so Krishna appears and gives us these stories so we can be attracted to him. And so that we can become his devotees. So this point is that he developed a Shakti, he developed attachment to hearing about Krishna. This is really the crux of the matter when it comes to becoming a devotee, when it comes to really making progress, is that we may be chanting our rounds, we may be doing all the necessary activities, but have we developed attachment to them? That attachment is not always, in my practical experience, it's not that it's always so easy. If you become attached to chanting Hare Krishna, if you become attached to worshiping your deities, become attached to doing service, if you become attached to the activities of bhakti yoga, then there are times where you will have to abstain from things in the material world due to that attachment. But it is precisely that attachment to Krishna consciousness activities that will bring you away from activities in the material world. Because I know that if I engage in material activities, if I engage in sense gratification, then I'm going to have to let go of my intense program of hearing and chanting. I'm going to have to let go of my sadhana more and more. And because of that, we could slip down into the material energy. Just like Sabari Muni I was reading about today. Sabari Muni, of course, was a great sage. He was meditating on the Jamuna River for so many thousands of years. All it took was him to associate with mode of passion by seeing two fish engage in sexual activity. And because of that, he felt maybe I should get married. And so then he got married. And he didn't, he wasn't illicit in his desires. But the point that is made is that, he did get married, he did do things the proper way. But the point that is made is at the end, he realized he wasted his life and he didn't take to Krishna consciousness the way he should have. And so association is so important that we pray for the association of those devotees who are completely free from vice. We pray for those devotees association who are serious about their activities of hearing and chanting. And that we formulate our relationships in our life based on that we want to be, we want our family members, we want our husbands, our wives, our friends to be those types of people who are very much attached to hearing and chanting. Because when two people come together who aren't attached to hearing and chanting, then they just enable one to be farther from hearing and chanting. And that's the reality of the situation. The stark reality is that all materialistic activities are going to take us away from God. And therefore it behooves us to seek that association that will really cut, right? Sadhu means to cut. Sadhu actually means cut. So if we don't want to be cut, we don't want to hang out with the sadhu. We don't want to be cut, we don't want to hang out with the guru. But if you're with the sadhu and the guru, then they will cut you. They won't flatter you. They won't flatter your materialistic desires. Rather, they will cut them. Mayananyena bhavena bhaktim kurvanti yedudam matkrite tvaktva swadharma tvaktva karmanas tvaktva bandhava sadhavaha tvaktva bandhava swajana tvaktva swajana bandhavaha. That such a sadhu is matkrite tvaktva swakarma. Matkrite tvaktva karmanas. He's renouncing materialistic activities for the sake of bhaktim kurvanti yedudam, for the sake of firm determination to go back to Godhead. That firm determination is what we get from associating with advanced devotees. So Narada Muni is getting this opportunity, and he's developing attachment. So that attachment has to come to hearing and chanting. And the fact is we don't get attachment unless we become unoffensive in our minds, unoffensive in our actions, unoffensive in our dealings. When we become unoffensive, then we can develop attachment to hearing and chanting. Precisely, it's due to offenses, actually, that we don't have attachment. I was hearing not just the 10 offenses, but all the different types of offenses, aparads, 10 offenses, but mostly Vaishnava aparads, offending devotees. Mainly, primarily, even the seva aparad, they're secondary, mainly offending devotees, but without the proper attitude. And then offenses are just the result of our attitudes. The attitude determines our altitude. What is our attitude? Takes time to adjust and learn the attitude of pure devotees. You have to associate with them. And we have to become attached to that. And so the spiritual path, although is easy, there are hard moments. We actually all like a challenge, right? You want a challenge, and the spiritual path is your true greatest challenge. Krishna consciousness is the greatest. Like, you got to be an Olympian to, you have to fight the good fight against Maya. And so it's not always easy. But actually, it's Krishna. Maya can be Krishna's great mercy on us, because when Maya actually attacks, only in those times can we really be humble. But unless we engage, when we really decide to fight Maya, then we'll be humble. But if we decide to just work with Maya, then we'll actually become puffed up. And that's the big thing about it, is that, the deriding of saintly persons is that those whose business is essentially to maintain family and to maintain all materialistic activities, they become offenders to the saintly people, because they don't recognize their own position. Deha padya kulat pradishadma sanyashma to be. The attachment is when one recognizes I'm attached. You hear in the Bhagavatam all the different devotees who are in attachment, they recognize their attachment and they act on it by associating with saintly persons. Bhaja Hure Mana, Sri Nandanandana. O mind, just worship the lotus feet of Krishna. Abhaya Charanata Vindame, which make one fearless. Take shelter of saintly persons and cross over the ocean of material existence. We can do that by taking shelter of saintly persons. Let's go to the next verse, 27. Narada Muni just very quickly attained the 11th and 10th and 11th stage of bhakti, ashakti and rati, or bhava, just by actually hearing with attention. He made his activities such a way that he can hear with attention. We're not so advanced to hear like Narada Muni. 27. Tasmim stada labda ruchir mahamate priya shravasya kilatya matir mama yaya metat sarasat swamayaya pashye mai brahmani kalpitam pare. O great sage, as soon as I got the taste of the personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. And as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in my ignorance that I had accepted the gross and subtle coverings, for both the Lord and I are transcendental. So, ignorance in material existence is compared to darkness. In all Vedic literatures, the personality of God is compared to the sun. Wherever there's light, there cannot be darkness. Hearing of the Lord's pastimes is itself transcendental association with the Lord, because there is no difference between the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. Become associated with the supreme light is to dissipate all ignorance. By ignorance, only the conditioned soul wrongly thinks that both he and the Lord are products of material nature. But in fact, the personality of Godhead and living beings are transcendental and have nothing to do with the material nature. When ignorance is removed, it is perfectly realized that there is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead. The nescience is removed. Since the gross and subtle bodies are emanations from the personality of Godhead, the knowledge of light permits one to engage both of them in the service of the Lord. The gross body should be engaged in acts of rendering service to the Lord, as in bringing water, cleansing the temple, or making obeisances. The path of archana, or worshiping the Lord in the temple, involves engaging one's gross body in the service of the Lord. Similarly, the subtle mind should be engaged in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, thinking about them, chanting his name. All such activities are transcendental. None of the gross or subtle senses should otherwise be engaged. Such realization of transcendental activity is made possible by many, many years of apprenticeship in devotional service. That's an important statement. Such realization of the transcendental activities is made possible by many, many years of apprenticeship in devotional service. But simply attraction of love for the personality of Godhead, as was developed in Narada Muni, by hearing is highly effective. So we develop apprenticeship in devotional service by doing what? By serving. You have to be a real apprentice of a devotee. You have to become an actual disciple. It's very easy. One of the purposes of this class was to bring light to the guru-disciple relationship. This isn't even on, but it's bothering me that it's still not at the right position. It's not on. But one of the purposes of this class was to bring real light into the guru-disciple relationship, because many people, they have a guru. Basically, sometimes the guru is just something they keep on their shelves. They don't got to turn it on. You don't got to turn it on. The guru is something they just keep on their shelves. I have a guru, and I do the thing. I pay obeisances to the guru. But I mean, actually, we say, tadvidi pranipatena pariprashneva sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tatvadarshinaha. Krishna says, tadvidi pranipatena. Pranipat. What does pranipat mean? It's to fall down like a stick also. Pranipat, to fall in front of. So pranipatena. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. And to render service. Upadek shanti. That by that instruction, upadek shanti te jnanam jnaninas tatvadarshina. Such a person can give you knowledge because such a person has seen the truth. And so someone who really has a guru, he's prepared to become disillusioned. That preparation to become disillusioned, that I am willing to go through whatever it takes to become free from this material energy. And so if that sounds like an easy thing for you, then I feel like that's something wrong with your spiritual understanding. Then are you ready to be disillusioned? And I know from associating with my guru personally that like there are disciples who are not ready to be disillusioned, and he does not disturb them. Rather, he just encourages them in the spirit of service, as Krishna says. So we have to show the eagerness. I've actually personally asked my Gurudev to chastise me. Please chastise me. Please, like, teach me. And he said, when the time comes, I will. There's nothing for me to do right now. When the time came, it came. And perhaps I wouldn't have asked that question if I had known the results. Very serious. Because who volunteers to have someone chop up their ego? But it's not just that the guru's words chop up the ego, it's also that the guru gives you, if you really are lucky, he'll give you something that you feel is impossible for you to do. I just can't do this. But you're lucky if the guru gives you something that you can't do. That now, because you can do it, but it's gonna force you to be like dust. It's gonna force you to realize how much lust is in your heart, how much desire is in your heart, how much envy is in your heart. This is the power of associating with these pure devotees. So apprenticeship means that the guru, what does he do? What is the main thing the guru does? Shiksha guru, Diksha guru, what is the main thing they do? What does that mean, though? What does that mean, to instruct? That's the cliche answer, but what does it actually mean? It means he trains you in the service attitude. Trains you in the service attitude. How do you become a servant? Servant in the sense that even that you're doing the service that he wants you to do, not just the service that you want to do. And you develop the teaching, the faith in the mission of Krishna consciousness, the desire to become dear to Krishna. So, yeah, many years of apprenticeship. So we see that the results are showing, we see that in devotees, we see Radha Swami, and we see these amazing devotees. We see our Mother Sandamani here. We see our Guru Maharaj manifesting these wonderful, powerful qualities of a devotee after many, many years of sincere practice. Think about Mother Sandamani. She's a great example because she's that from day one, from what I've heard, she's taken her spiritual life as seriously as she takes it now. So we see the result, but if we don't take our spiritual life seriously, how can we make progress? So very nice, that process of hearing. But then Prabhupada ends the purport by just saying, just by hearing, attentively hearing, that's also effective. That's the Shrinvanta Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyanta Stohya Badrani Vidanoti Sarit Sitam. Krishna will cleanse your heart of material desire if you hear this Bhagavatam. Next verse. Itam Sarat Pravikshivartuharer Vishmin Vato Me Nushlavam Yaso Malam Sankirtiyamanam Munibir Mahatmabir Bhakti Pravritadma Rajastamopa. Thus, during 2 seasons, the rainy season and the autumn, I had the opportunity to hear these great sages constantly chant the unadulterated glories of Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanished. Transcendental loving service for the Supreme Lord is the natural inclination of every living being. This instinct is dormant in everyone, but due to association with the material nature, modes of passion and ignorance cover this from time immemorial. If by the grace of the Lord and the great soul devotees of the Lord, a living being becomes fortunate enough to associate with unadulterated devotees of the Lord and gets a chance to hear the unadulterated glories of the Lord, certainly the flow of devotional service takes place like a flow of a river. As the flow of a river flows on until it reaches the sea, similarly, pure devotional service flows by the association of pure devotees till it reaches the ultimate goal, namely transcendental love for God. Such flow of a devotional service cannot stop. On the contrary, it increases more and more without limitation. Flow of devotional service is so potent that any onlooker also becomes liberated from the influence of the modes of passion and ignorance. These two qualities of nature are thus removed, and the living being is liberated, being situated in his original position. I will give anybody all my special mercy, every bit of mercy that I have to give, if they can answer what Prabhupada is paraphrasing that last part of the purport here. We did go over it. There's your clue. Okay, mercy is going to be dropped by 50%. Now, full mercy is still available. But I'll give you a clue. We already quoted one of the verses in that line of verses that this particular section of the purport is covering. Already quoted one of those verses.
You're asking if the two qualities in nature?
No.
Or the original position?
Flow of devotional service is so pertinent. Any onlooker becomes liberated by the influence of mode of passion and ignorance. Even before that, here this whole section is just Prabhupada is just quoting, just paraphrasing Bhagavatam verses. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.16 Shru Shru Shro Shradanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Not Padiyad Yati Ratim Shrama Eve Kevalam. That totally missed that, but Shru Shru Shro Shradanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Not Padiyad Yati Ratim. No, it's not it. Vasudeva Kataruchi Syanmat Sevya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevanat. Confusing two verses for some reason. Punyatirtha Nishevanat. So Krishna says that, or Sutta Goswami is explaining that when one becomes eager to hear by rendering service to devotees, the development of taste for this Krishna consciousness arises. Taste for Vasudeva Kataruchi, one develops taste for hearing about Krishna. From that taste from hearing about Krishna, Shrinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantasto Hibadrani Vidnoti Saritsatam. 17, verse 17, chapter 2. Now I'm being cleansed in my heart by hearing about Krishna every day. From that being cleansed in my heart, Naste Prayeshu Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Naishtiki. That cleansing of the heart, basically I develop steadiness, regular Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya. Steadiness. This is the stage of Nishta, as described by our acharyas. So Nishta comes at different levels. There's different stages of Nishta. Nishta essentially comes from the development, right? This Shrinvata Swakata Punya Shravana Kirtana, when you're really eager to hear about Krishna. That means you're going to sacrifice things to hear about Krishna, right? That's that whole line of verses. What is a sadhu? Atikshava Karunika Surida Sarvanedi Hinam Ajita Shachava Shanta Sadhava Sadhubhushana. He's merciful, he's tolerant, so forth. And then later on it describes that he's letting go of all these material connections just to serve Krishna. And then in that association, our flagship verse for this class is the fan, only fans. And we have like 10 fans in the hallway. We keep making all these fan jokes. Fans.
Are there like official stages of Nishta, or is it just?
There are official stages. There are official stages, yeah. But actually, it's different. It depends on. There's different acharyas who line it out differently. There's a 9-stage process in which there's a certain way, and then there's 14-stage process where in the stage of Bhajana Kriya is separated into 6 stages. And so those stages are that, one of those stages is that someone is unsteady, right? They want to get married, they want to take sannyas. They want to get married, they want to take sannyas. They want to get married, they want to take sannyas. That's a symptom of unsteady bhajana kriya. I want to enjoy, I want to be a devotee, I want to just give it up and go to Krishna. I want to enjoy, I want to be a devotee, but I want to give it up, I'll go to Krishna. That is like a symptom of not being situated. There's these different ways. Or I think I know better than everybody else. I got it made. That's also a symptom of unsteady bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya is the stage that comes after sadhu sanga. First faith, then associate with devotees, and then now I'm going to do this. Bhajana kriya means you've come to the stage of like, I'm going to shave my head, I'm going to get initiated. That's basically Bhajana kriya means I'm going to take initiation. I have enough faith to engage, to give myself this process. But, one of those is that I am, I'm unsteady. I'm unsteady in my practice of bhajan. Let me see here. Actually. It's worth looking into. We can take a little side tour. It's a real call out, though, just so you know. I read this, is going to call you out. False confidence, sporadic effort. Oh, yeah. Sporadic effort means I make a vow, like, I'm going to chant so many rounds. I'm going to get up early every morning from now on. And then, like, 2 days later, you're not getting up. You've given up already. This type of thing, or I'm going to chant, like, 32 rounds a day, and then you give it up. That's a symptom of unsteady determination. I'm going to do this, and then you just don't. Because you have the sincerity, but you don't have the steadiness. You don't have the actual, you haven't gone through the actual preliminaries yet. You're trying to go ahead of where you're at. And it all really results in these offenses. And then indecision, I want to take sannyas, I want to get married, I want to take sannyas, I want to get married, that type of thing. I want to give it all to Krishna. I'm done with material life. So, I want to enjoy so bad still. That type of thing. It's a symptom. It's actually a stage. One of them is Vishaya Sangara, or struggle with material temptations. Right? We're struggling with material temptations. Vyuda Vikalpa, doubts and uncertainty about the path and its efficacy may arise. Is this really it? Is this really, do I really have faith in this? Right? Is this really, like, I'm doing it, I like my friends, I like I'm attached to the devotees, there's pretty devotee girls, whatever it is, I like it, But do I really have faith in the holy name? That actually I'm going to go back to Godhead? That actually Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Or now am I just in this for social reasons? The devotee grapples, Vishaya Sangara. The devotee grapples with desires for material sense gratification, experiencing an internal conflict. The conflict that I want sense gratification, but I know it's going to hurt me. That's just a terrible conflict in the heart. Right? Now, I'm not saying that, like, I'm certainly not above any of these. But, like, that's a terrible conflict in the heart. This is coming from Vishwanath Thakur. Niyamakshama. Even with regular practice, the devotee may struggle to fully observe the regulative principles. And one of these is also symbolized by, like, even though there's kirtan going on and not chanting, right? We see that sometimes, that kirtan's going on, you just see someone standing there. And they're thinking about something else. You see in their mind, their eyes go off to the side, thinking about all their problems. Hare Krishna, and then you see them like, they do that, that type of thing. Or I sleep during kirtan, fall asleep during class. These are all symptoms of that stage. No, I'm not serious. It's not like calling anybody out. We all are all under this mode. We all have different ways. And then Taranga Ranjini, the devotee may still be attached to material possessions, reputation, and other worldly aspects. Well, that's the big one, right? Now everybody's calling me Maharaj. People are bowing down. I'm doing everything. Now people are giving me attention for being a devotee. That's also another fight. We have to go past all of that to come to the stage of real steady hearing. And so when we fight these battles, we'll see that you can see the symptoms. You can't fake your devotional service. You'll know when you see certain levels of steadiness, that this person is chanting steadily, they're hearing steadily, they're doing service steadily. And it's described also that there's different levels of, some people are very steady in their humility, some people are very steady in their service, some people are very steady in their sadhana. Different levels. But really we should have all three. Mental steadiness, bodily steadiness, behavioral steadiness.
This is the preliminary.
Everything's preliminary essentially till we come to the stage of prema. And we're all preliminary, but bhakti is preliminary to bhakti. Lower bhakti is preliminary to higher bhakti. So all this is good. It's not bad. If you're going through these things, it means you've passed other things that were holding you back. So let's move on. 29. Tasyaivam me niraktasya parishritasya hatan nishaha sharanayasya balasya dantasya nucharasya cha. I was very much attached to those sages. I was gentle in behavior, and all my sins were eradicated in their service. In my heart I had strong faith in them. I had subjugated my senses, and I was strictly following them with body and mind. Hand me that remote, please. I was strictly following them with body and mind. Yeah. Oh, it's really working. No, it's really working. I thought it was on auto. They leave. Oh, we'll miss you. Now we're all the homies here, all the home crew. Enjoy time with your daughter.
We got Oak Fire now.
I'm very happy. Very happy you're here. Sorry about your hat.
I know Thomas has it.
No, Thomas doesn't have it. I texted Thomas and he's like, I gave it to you. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Oh.
Anyway, so that means I think Guru Shakti collected it and put it in the alternate dimension he puts things into, honestly. Okay. So what we just read, which one did you just read? 29. I was attached to Anuraktasya, to the Bhaktivedantas. I was Parashritasya, freed from sins. Faithful, self-controlled, inclined to serve, and strictly followed them with body and mind. This is a real disciple. If you want the goodies of Krishna consciousness, then be a real disciple. Then you'll get it fast. You can get it. You can get it easy if you just do that. But are we going to do it? So, okay, let's go to the next verse, 30. As they were leaving, those Bhaktivedantas, who were kind to poor-hearted souls, instructed me in that most confidential subject, was instructed by the personality of God himself. Sages were kind to fallen, Dina Vatsala. They were about to depart. They mercifully, Kripa, instructed me in the most confidential knowledge. So a pure Vedantist or Bhaktivedanta instructs his followers exactly according to the instructions of the Lord himself. Personality of Godhead, both in the Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, has definitely instructed men to follow the Lord only. The Lord is the creator, maintainer, annihilator of everything. Full manifested creation is existing by his will, and by his will, when the whole show is finished, he will remain in his eternal abode with all his paraphernalia. For the creation, he was there in the eternal abode, and after annihilation, he will continue to remain. He is not, therefore, one of the created beings. He is transcendental. What's the most confidential knowledge? Anybody know? Shloka. Yes. What? Yeah. So yeah, the most confidential knowledge is devotional service. And so we get that right from the spiritual master. And there's a result. Like if you have a spiritual master, unfortunately, this is a heavy duty truth that we can all reflect on. That I have my guru, but if I really took shelter of my guru, what's the result? Yajgita na punar moham. Evam yasyasi pandavaha. Yajgita na punar moham. No more moha. No more illusion. No more lamentation. No more downs and ups. I've actually come out of that because Yajgita na punar moham. Mam evasyashi pandavaha. Having seen such a self-realized soul, Yena bhutani yasheshani, Yena bhutani yasheshani, Yena bhutani yasheshani, Yakshashyat manyato mayi. Never again will you fall into such illusion, because you see that every living being is part and parcel of Krishna. You're seeing on the spiritual platform, and you see everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is to be used in Krishna's service. That's the real result. So therefore, we need long time seva, long time guru seva, sincere guru seva. Okay, that was 30, 31. By this confidential knowledge, I can understand clearly the influence of the energy of Lord Sri Krishna, the creator, maintainer, annihilator of everything. By knowing that, one can return and personally meet him. You know, while we're talking earlier in the sana about personally meeting Krishna and Garuda, how dope it's going to be when you die and Garuda comes. You know, it's just like, whoa. You see Garuda, it's like, yeah, and you hop up on the Garuda and you fly through the universe. Me and growing up, we were reading the Garga Samhita. It was describing how demigods went out the Ganges, they went out the whole of the universe, and they went out of the universe. And like they were just seeing millions of universe citizens. It was just in darkness, and it was really scary. And they saw like Mahavishnu, and they're just going along. Then they came to Goloka Vrindavan. So you have to go through all of that, Mahavishnu and everything, and go through the whole spiritual world, and then go to Goloka Vrindavan.
We follow that same path.
We don't know. We have to go and kill ourselves. And Prabhupada was saying in a class this morning that we commit social suicide. That sannyas means social suicide. That you were dying actually, but you're not dying. It's okay to kill yourself that way, but not the other way. So if you're depressed, just become a brahmachari, then become a sannyasi. Here's the process. If you want. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to go into the process of karma yoga. We could probably finish after this. We'll finish this section and we'll end at 36. Well, no, we'll try to finish the chapter. No, we'll try to finish the chapter if possible. Otherwise, we'll end at 36. So this is the conclusion right here. We're seeing a different shift here. So, etat samsuchitam brahmam stapatraya chikichitam Yarishvare Bhagavati Karma Brahmani Bhavitam. O Brahmana Vyasadeva, it is decided by the learned that the best remedial measure for removing all troubles and miseries is to dedicate one's activities to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Wow. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? That's the secret of the universe right there. You know, if you just dedicate your activities to Krishna. What does that mean? How do we dedicate our activities to Krishna? Anybody know? Some practical examples. Okay. Yeah. Eating prasadam, doing seva, kirtan. Okay. That's all very nice. We mean karma. This is talking of karma yoga actually though. Yes. Karma Brahmani Bhavitam. Yeah. Giving up the results of your actions to Krishna. Not giving all the results of your actions to Krishna. It's described, you know, it's like one of these kind of points that I think many people might have to face in their bhakti process, is that Like it's very, unless you become devoted. You have these options. Krishna's given us options actually. Here we are. What do we? Okay, so there, right? I just give Krishna, and I just Bhajahure mana Shri Nanda Nandana Bhayacharanara Vindare Dulabha Manava Janatma Satsange Taroe Bhava Sindhure. Cross the ocean of material existence, fix my mind on Krishna. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Vandanam Dasyam Atmanivedanam Archanam Sakyam, all the 9 processes, right? Go engage in all the 9 processes. That's it. That's full surrender. Full surrender. I'm just going to do this the rest of my life. Can't do that. Sorry. Okay. So you want to enjoy. All right. Next way, other side of the spectrum. Let me engage in my propensity to be a king, a kshatriya, brahmana, sudra. Let me suffer and enjoy based in that world, but let me dedicate it all to Krishna. And by doing that, I'll become purified. Krishna highly recommends. And then there is a middle ground. The material energy as little as possible, or become as renounced as possible, while developing attachment to hearing and chanting. You see, this is back to that original point that when my attachment is to hearing and chanting, I don't want to give this up. I don't want to give up hearing about Krishna. I don't want to give up worshiping the deity. I don't want to give up Bhagavatam class. I don't want to give up chanting my rounds nicely. I don't want to give these things up. This is what I'm attached to. So let me enjoy as much as I can. Let me do my swadharma as much as I have to do without giving that up. That'll purify me. Or let me give it all up. And even though I have so much desire, let me just hear and chant, because that will purify me. That if I really give myself to this process fully and fully, everything is there. Everything is there in that process of bhakti. That's why it's transcendental. It's beyond everything. Omar Prabhu.
For karma yoga, at what point does it count that you offered it to Krishna? Like, say for example, I work and then I get some money, then I buy a Bhagavad Gita. That could kind of be seen as I'm offering it to Krishna. What if I just take the Bhagavad Gita and just throw it in the trash or something? Then it wouldn't count really. But if I gave it to somebody and they read it, it would count. So it seems like is it just enough to have the intent to offer?
I think common sense is applied.
Right, but you could say, for example, you had a temple and you gave them money, and then somehow it got lost or something like that. Would that count that still as offering to Krishna? Does it have to actually have been used in service, or is it just enough to have the intent?
Well, generally the intent is sufficient, but if we're offering it to cheaters and the cheated, I'm going to give my money to some person who's not really going to use it in Krishna's service. That's charity in the mode of ignorance. I'm getting cheated. So we don't want to do that. But it also means we don't become attached to the results. Rather, nishkam karma yoga means result without attachment to the results. Nishkama means I'm not attached to the enjoyment, the kama that comes with it. So basically, a nishkam karma yogi is attached to the work. See, the difference between bhakti yoga and karma yoga is that a bhakti yogi is attached to Krishna, and a karma yogi is attached to the things he does for Krishna. So I'm attached to being a grihasta. Let me be a good grihasta for Krishna. I'm attached to it. I'm attached to being a computer scientist, computer engineer, software engineer. I've seen people in India, I've heard different stories of the brahmacharis, they couldn't be a brahmachari anymore because they needed to just get in there and do coding. They just had they just needed it. So they had to give up, they had to leave because I just needed to code. I need to do this. The karma's too strong for me to get it. Okay, well, then he wrote code for the temple. He programmed for the temple. Nishkam Karma Yoga. Then the higher stage of Nishkam Karma Yoga, like we see in like Janak Maharaj and Arjuna, is that they're not even attached to their work. They're just doing it to set a good example.
Karma Yoga, do you say this?
It's Nishkam Karma Yoga, but it's higher stage of Nishkam Karma Yoga. I'm just doing it to set an example. Bhakti Yoga means, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But Krishna, you want me to do this. Therefore, I want to do this. Because I love you. I love my Guru Maharaj. And I want to, out of gratitude and love, give my life to you. And I'm willing to suffer. I'm willing to sacrifice for you, Krishna. And Krishna will test you. If you think you're not going to get tested, then you're crazy, man. Krishna will send Maya in there. How much do you want me? None of that? Okay. I mean, my Guru Maharaj is like, our Guru Maharaj, it's heavy because when those words actually hit you, what he's talking about, when he says like, Maya will test you. He told me like, when Krishna sends gratification, he's saying, how much do you want me? The gopis gave up everything and went to Krishna. They gave up everything and went to Krishna. Are we willing to give up everything and go to Krishna? Right? Not so easy. Fun to talk about, but when you really face it, and here I am faced with the material energy, how much will I compromise my service, my ability to serve, my ability to influence, my ability to do something for Krishna? So therefore, that's full surrender. That, my dear Lord, do with me whatever you will. I mean, to have the courage to pray, take everything away from me that will hinder me from being your pure devotee. Destroy it. Take it away. Make me suffer all I need to suffer. Take away my free will. I don't want it. That's what my Guru Maharaj told Kalachandji. I don't want it anymore. And we see within a year, wife of 33 years leaves him, finished, loses three companies go down, 3 massive corporations go down. He's left, he's homeless, millionaire to homeless. And look at the result. You're the result. I'm the result of that prayer. So, we can ask. I mean, I'm giving a close to home example, but there's also Srila Prabhupada. But this close to home example in the sense that, what if our Gurudev didn't have challenges in the Grihastha ashram? What if he didn't pray to Kalachandji to take it all away? Would you even be a devotee? Would this temple even still be here? I don't know. We don't know, but likelihood is we wouldn't be devotees. There wouldn't be, the devotees we have here today, the influence he's had in this community. So Srila Prabhupada, what if things had worked for him? So Maya will test us. The answer is, who do you take shelter of? Take shelter of Krishna. Every time we take shelter of Krishna. But it ain't easy all the time. Krishna wants to see that love. He wants to see that love in your heart. And there's sweetness. And we see in the devotees who've actually really made immense self-sacrifice, the reciprocation they experience, like our Parameshwar Prabhu. Do we really want that? We really want to have Krishna that deep. Now, if we don't, that's fine. Karma Yoga. Krishna actually tells Arjuna in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Bhagavad Gita, like, You're not ready for bhakti yoga, dude. He kind of says that in verse 29, 25. You know, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhakti Priyachati. He says, you know, you just do this with love. That's it. But, you know, what everything, fixing your mind upon me, all that, you're not ready for that. Therefore, Yat Karosi Yadashnasi Yad Jahosi Didasi Yat Tapasyasi Kontea Tat Karosa Manarpanam. Whatever you do it for me. Just try to do it for me. And Prabhupada doesn't make a distinction in his purports between Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. He translates them both to devotional service because they are just different stages of devotional service. You've not become a pure devotee because you're one of the four types. That's okay. Even if you're akama. It's really a relief to admit that we're akama. I've noticed that maybe like akama, sarvakama, mokshakama. We're either, you know, we want moksha, or we really don't want moksha. Because we wanted moksha, we wouldn't be toying with Maya. Akama, well, we're certainly not akama. At least I'm not. I have material desire. Rather, we're sarvakama. We have all material desire. We want moksha too. It's there too. But we also want sense gratification. We also, you know, I want to be a sannyasi. I want to be a rich grihasta. I want both. I want all of it. I'm lusty like anything. I'm like Drew, you know, we're lusty like anything. Okay, Hare Krishna. Just chant Hare Krishna. There is hope for us. But Lord Chaitanya came to give us, you know, vidya and vairagya, knowledge and detachment. So, anyways, let's go to the next verse. Oh, Nitai Gauranga, I'm preaching to myself, you know, I'm not preaching to any of you guys.
Yeah, we're pure devotees.
Oh, here we go. It's the same thing. So we were hearing last verse that the best thing is to just give everything to Krishna, right? Devote your activities to Krishna. And this verse says, "O good soul, does not a thing applied therapeutically cure a disease which was caused by that very same thing?" Give me some examples.
That's the one with something wrong with consuming like milk or whatever. It's taking like hurt.
Yeah, so they say. I've never seen that personally. So
Had that?
no. But I'll give an example that I have seen personally. Is that venom, right? Anti-venom. Or vaccinations. Oh, no, real vaccinations, not the things they have today. Those are not vaccinations. I've actually done that. I think Arizona kids have actually experienced that before. I've done that before, actually. So this is it. This is the real thing. How do we use something? So we can therefore apply. So our Krishna is recommending this in Bhagavad Gita. You know, rather than, you know, what use will repression accomplish? Rather, you should just try to, you know, do what you have to do and dedicate to Krishna, become detached. Of course, once again, not so easy. But if we become, you know, when we see like there's karma yogis and we see there's bhakti yogi, you know, grihastas, bhakti yogi kings, right? There are examples of bhakti yogi grihastas like Srivas Thakur. They just chanted. That's what they did. They just chanted Hare Krishna. You know, but if we won't chant Hare Krishna, you know, we can chant 16. We can barely chant 16 rounds. You know, Srivas Thakur was chanting 64 rounds minimum every day. And chanting, you know. Or Chaitanya said, I won't even accept anything from someone who's not a millionaire. Meaning that they have to chant 64 rounds. Or 300,000 rounds, 300,000 names, 3 lakh. So we should seriously chant and hear very nicely. That's the bhakti purport. The karma purports that follow the rules and regulations of whatever ashram and varna you have nicely. And I mean, that's a very basic principle, is that if you're a brahmachari, be a brahmachari. If you're a grihasta, be a grihasta. If you're a sannyasi, be a sannyasi. Because you can't please Krishna otherwise, right? It's said very clearly that the first thing Ramananda Roy says, how do you please God? He says, follow your duty. Do your duty nicely. You don't do your duty nicely, you're committing a sin, actually. That's a fact. You are committing a sin. It's a sinful activity. So what's sinful for a grihasta is not sinful for a brahmachari. What's sinful for a brahmachari is not sinful for a grihasta. So that when we get in the mode of passion, it gets all screwed up, you see. So, right, the right thing is not always the easy thing, as they say. The right thing is not always the easy thing. Therefore, we should strive to do the right thing. The path of the Christ. Divine and holy path. Okay. We're going to finish this section. Oh, 35. Oh, wait, that was 34. Thus, when all a man's activities are dedicated to the service of the Lord, those very activities which caused his perpetual bondage become the destroyer of the tree of work. So when you're doing the real thing, when you're actually, like, I mean, in most space, that most people have to go this route. It's not, this is the real route. And even a brother is still going this route. Everybody's going this route, essentially. Even I was just hearing Prabhupada say, sannyasa is still material. It's a lecture. It's all material. We're not in this, unless we're Paramahamsas. So therefore, by becoming detached from those things, by giving them to the Lord, one becomes actually purified from all of that. So, of course, it's not so easy. That's the thing about it. It's not so easy. Because, that means we have to really do everything properly. And we have to be proper. There's different ways we can look at it. There's a positive outlook. I think I paint a negative picture in a sense, because I don't have like true realization of this, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he paints a very positive picture in the Harinam Chintamani of the sense that one, if one is full of material desires, just chant the holy name. Like, chant the holy name and live a Krishna conscious life. Just be Krishna conscious. Do service, get up early, go through it. And in the end, you'll be purified. And that's there's a difference there between when we're focused on our own spiritual development, that's one thing. But when we're focused on this sense that, like, all the sacrifices we make, it's not that, like, it's all volunteer. It's no one's forcing us to do anything. And so it's a volunteer movement. We have to appreciate everybody wherever they're at. We appreciate them. And we see that they are sacrificing something. But whatever we sacrifice, that's our volunteer, and that's out of love for Krishna, not out of anything else. Like, if chanting Hare Krishna is enough, why do anything more? Because do we just care about ourselves? Or do we care about helping others? Do we care about... And so Krishna is pleased by that, you see. And so for me, actually, in my personal life, I realized that like, I came to that conclusion long before I was a devotee, that there's no doubt in my mind that love is the real highest principle in this universe. That love is the only thing that actually matters. That was like my basic, I had that understanding. And that was what I was seeking in all the spiritualities, is something that really embodies and helps me live that life. And then realizing Krishna says the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice, yajna. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. Krishna is the enjoyer of all the sacrifices, all of the tapasya. Krishna is the enjoyer. So therefore, let me let me do tapasya, let me do yajna for Krishna. Let me do it for Krishna. It is ultimately for Krishna. Okay, we'll just read these last two verses, 35 and 36. Uh-oh. It just crashed. Database just crashed, dude. Okay, read 35, read 35 then.
Whatever work is done here in this life for the satisfaction of the mission of the Lord is called Bhakti Yoga, or transcendental loving service to the Lord. And what is called knowledge becomes a concomitant factor.
So knowledge is a concomitant factor, and whatever is done for the satisfaction of the Lord is called Bhakti Yoga. For the mission of the Lord, that word mission is there, right? That means we have our mission and we can offer our mission to the Lord, or we can join the Lord's mission. You see the difference? Is that clear? I wrote a song once. When I was a bhakti, I was writing a lot of songs. I was like into it. So I was in this inspired period. The song goes, I'm going to join the golden army, going to chant my way back home. I'm nothing without my teachers. Without them, I'm alone, and I'll follow the cloudy child with the flute in his hand, and I'll sing his name always. I sure hope I can, 'cause I know I need you. I need to love you so. I know I need to love you so. So how can I serve you? I'm gonna join the golden army. Gonna sing my way back home, and I'm nothing without my teachers. Without them, I'm alone. Goes on. Anyhow, but a lot to do during COVID. Not very much things to do during COVID, you know. So, anyways, join the Golden Army, Lord Chaitanya's army, right? What's his mission? Do something for that. There's something special about someone who can give everything to Lord Chaitanya. There's something special about that. You know, we should pray for that. We should want that. It takes courage to pray like that. Take it all away. He will too. That's the sad part when he does, and then you're like, "Oh, I prayed for this. I asked for this, and you're doing it in a way that's just." And I've had that experience before, where like once in my most literally when I was at the bottom of my rock bottom place, where I was a serious devotee. When I at my rock bottom place, I was sitting with my guitar, and I was just sitting there chanting because I just had nothing to do. I was just like so horribly cooked in my heart. I was just chanting, and I just started crying. I realized, you're so kind. Krishna is so kind. Whenever Krishna really takes something from you, you feel his kindness. Like, wow, you're so kind. You are so kind, Krishna. No one's kinder. So karma, or work done for the satisfaction of the Lord, purifies the performer from material affection and leads to the attainment of spiritual knowledge, endowed with bhakti. But jnana, devoid of bhakti, will not even yield liberation. Read 36, please.
While performing duties according to the order of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personified one constantly remembers him, his names, and his qualities.
So this is the real process. This is called, there's Bhakti Mishra Karma, Bhakti Mishra Jnana, and Karma Mishra Bhakti. Those are terms you should remember. Mishra means mixed, right? So Bhakti Mishra Karma means you're doing karma mixed with some bhakti.
Bhakti Mishra Karma.
Yeah, Bhakti Mishra Karma. And then Bhakti Mishra Jnana means we're doing some jnana mixed with some bhakti. Karma Mishra Bhakti means we're doing primarily bhakti mixed with some jnana, some karma. We ultimately want Shuddha Bhakti, right? Shanta Bhakti. Okay, that's it. Any questions or comments? All right, let's take some grapes and then call it a day.
Does, I like